Hello and welcome to my first look at the World Eaters Codex for Warhammer 40,000 from Games Workshop. It's right here, and it will cost you the usual £32.50 as codexes do. Straight away I will say that it consists of 88 pages, so not quite past that 100 page mark, but that's understandable. It's, I say, technically a new army. World Eaters have been around in some form or of another as part of the main Chaos Space Marine range for over 20 years, and it's been a long time coming since we've had a refresh of the new Khorne Berserkers. So let's unwrap this and feast our eyes on all the chaos and carnage that comes with the angriest of Chaos Space Marines. So the Codex itself, it actually feels quite nice. I wasn't expecting this to feel so good. It's not as kind of glossy as I remember the standard editions to be. Of course, the main reason I got this instead of the collectors, nothing to do with it being sold out. It was because this is a new army. I'm not planning to collect this army as a main force, and I just felt 88 pages for £55 for the collector's edition was a bit too much. Usually I go by page count and whether it's my main army. So you'll get your Game of Thrones Season 3 inside cover art there. You get a little bit about the World Eaters, the introduction, the contents there. Blood for the Blood God, Skulls for the Throne of Khorne. Khorne's Legion. At one time, the 12th Legion went into war in armour of pearl and ocean blue rather than red and brass. Still, they were a force of incredible savagery, and their plate was invariably stained crimson with the blood of countless slain enemies. I think that's Mark 4 there. So, a history of them. I mean, this is the first time we've had a proper World Eaters Codex. Angron looks absolutely huge there. Quite a nice chunk about him, about Khan the Betrayer. Wonder if we'll get a new miniature for him. His miniature has held up over the years though. Lord Invocatus, a little bit of a story there. A Legion Broken and Divided. The Bloodstalkers, Axes of the Forge, so you've got all of these different factions within it. The Purity of Slaughter. Blood for the Blood God, it's just like a few pages that are just red. That's amazing. I like the art style for that. Yeah, and another little story. Then a look at the miniatures showcase. I always think that this showcase section should be bigger in all of the codexes. But you've got the Khorne Berserkers, you've got the Jackals. Don't worry guys, I will be picking up the Berserkers and the Jackals in the Combat Patrol when that's released. So you will see those miniatures on the channel. You've got the Exalted 8-bound with, you know, the Rhinos and the Land Raiders. I'd probably say like the Deimos pattern Rhinos and the Horus Heresy Land Raiders would go better nowadays with some of these Chaos armies. That's how I'm kind of building my word bearers anyway. Nice showcase of Angron there. And a look at the Demon Prince. That Demon Prince is like £47.50. It's quite pricey, but it is a really nice model, especially if you use the wings as well. You've got a Master of Executions converted, they have to say, because they, you know, haven't released, I say, a a Legion specific one, I guess. But then you've got these Juggernauts, which are absolutely amazing. I'm going to be building the Invocatus as well. Nice little showcase of the whole force. you've got the rules, you've got the combat patrol, so this is the combat patrol that is coming out. You get the jackals, you get 20 berserkers, and the Lord Invocatus. This is the reason why I'm not picking up the berserkers separate, because I think, you know, having 30 Khorne berserkers is nice. You know, I wouldn't leave home without at least 40, but still, it's just a bit too many for an army that I'm not fully collecting. You've got the army rules, you've got this thing called the Blood Tithe, and then you've got some more Battleforge rules and stratagems, Disciples of the Red Angel, and then you've got the data sheets. So starts off with Angron, bit lackluster. I feel like Angron could have had his own data sheet on one page and then a picture of him. I know we've just seen 2 pictures of him there, but yeah, that's a bit wasted space. I get that they have to introduce the data sheets, but maybe put Angron on that page instead, because then it would be a nice synergy. That's just my take on it. So Angron, Lord of War Choice, right there. PowerPoint's 18. He's, yeah, 12 attacks. Then he gets less attacks with the wounds remaining, so he's one of those miniatures. You've got Khan the Betrayer, HQ unit, Lord Invocatus, a World Eater's Demon Prince, World Eater's Lord on Juggernaut, World Eater's Master of Executions. They've got him as an HQ. I'm sure he was like an elite choice. Khorne Berserkers as troops. You've got 5 Khorne Berserkers, but you can have 10. That's really odd. I was hoping that you could have 20 in a unit. That sucks already. Jackals. Oh, you can have 20 jackals. Oh, that's great then. That's fantastic. You can have up to 20 jackals in a unit there. They're troops. World Eater's Terminator Squad. You can have up to 10 in a unit. You've got the 8-bound, which are elites. So the Exalted 8-bound. You can only get 3 Exalted 8-bound, but you can get up to 6 normal 8-bound. I think I might just build them as Exalted. I have yet to decide. Put it in the comments which I should build, Exalted or 8-bound. You've got the Hellbrute, you've got the Chaos Spawn, and then you've got heavy support, you've got the Chaos Land Raider and the Defiler. You've got the Predator Destructor. They couldn't find a picture, and they couldn't find a picture of the Annihilator. It's really lazy. Forge Fiend, and then a Mauler Fiend. You've got the Chaos Rhino as a troop transport. No drop pods, no Dreadclaw drop pods, anything like that. So you're only going to get your Space Marines in via Rhinos, which is a bit silly for you know, a whole legion that is focused on getting into combat as quick as possible. For crying out loud, if you knew how Angron got to a planet, then yeah, you'd agree with me 100%. There should be drop pods, and Games Workshop have been lackluster in providing us with Chaos Space Marine drop pods for a long time. They do exist. They are out there. Please, could you design some Chaos drop pods? This was a prime opportunity to do so. You've got Helldrake there, and then you've got the Khorne Lord of Skulls. Nice picture of him. He gets a nice picture, but Angron. No. And then what's this? Okay, you get some kind of like red image of Angron in the background. Crusade rules. Oh wow, so Crusade rules get their own like page like this now. Interesting. So a little look at these. Judgment of the Blood God. Permission to photocopy, of course. Agendas, requisitions, Crusade relics, Chaos boons. Battle traits, World Eater's name generator, Crusade army. Okay, that's odd. War gear and points values, weapon profiles. Only a couple of pages there, and then points values. If you want to know, Angron is 360 points, and Khorne Lord of Skulls is 575. So there you go. Yeah, a lot of wasted space in this codex, my first impressions. A lot of odd choices and not a huge amount of new units. Not really for a brand new army. I get the feeling they're holding things back. I really do. So you've got Angron as new. You've got the Lord Invocatus. I kind of count the Demon Prince, but I don't, so we won't count it. So that's 2. You've got the combi circus, again, I don't really count them because they've been around before. So you've got the jackals, which are brand new, so that's 3. You've got the exalted 8-bound, that's 4. And that is it. So 4 new units, really. 4 new models, 4 new kits in the whole army. It's not a huge amount. You know, they were bigging this up to be the big comeback and things. I mean, it's great that World Eaters get their own codex, their own army book and all the rest of it. That's fantastic. But how does that bode for Emperor's Children? How does it bode for Iron Warriors? I'd like to see more from those particular armies. Because look at Death Guard. I mean, this isn't the second coming of Death Guard. This really isn't. This is lukewarm. It's not as angry and as fierce as I was expecting. Death Guard, brand new army, loads more units, new units in the range. What they've done in this book with World Eaters is they've leaned heavily on the current Space Marine range. Heavily. And Death Guard didn't do that. So I just expected more from this release. So let's sit back and see what they do release in the next 2 years to expand this. You've got supposedly 10th edition out later this year. Let's see, you know, if they do release any new units at all for these in the next 2 years. And then if they do, you know that they were holding it back. They like to do that. They did it with Imperial Knights, and they've done it with Sisters and a few other armies. So that seems to be their trend. But anyway, what do you guys think of the World Eaters Codex? Be interesting to find out your thoughts and the World Eaters range in general. Of course, I don't have an old World Eaters Codex to compare this to, so this is brand new territory. Put your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below as always. It'd be great to hear from you. Thank you for joining me today. Thank you for watching. Blood for the Blood God.